Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video in our wellness series. My name is Olivia and I'm the National Content Coordinator for the Manchester Unity Members Forum, and today we've got a really awesome video on procrastination, which for a lot of you that was going to be very helpful, but also for myself because I know I procrastinate a lot, so it's going to be great to hear some tips and tricks on how to hopefully overcome that. I'm joined again by Sofian from Shaking Minds, and he's going to be telling us all about procrastination and ways that we can perhaps stop procrastinating. But before we get into the video, I'll let Sofian introduce himself and then we'll get into it.
Hi everyone, my name is Sofian from Manchester Unity, for Manchester Unity. So thank you very much, Olivia, for the introduction. So I'm Sofian from Shaking Minds. So you probably know myself pretty well by now. We've done quite a lot of videos all together. So Shaking Minds is about creating a positive impact for people. And today I'm really happy to talk to you about procrastination. So just like Olivia said, procrastination is on the tongue of so many people, and everyone is struggling with it. So, and even myself, sometimes I do struggle a bit with procrastination. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, you cannot be at the top every single day. Sometimes you have your ups and downs, and procrastination comes with your down most of the time. So today I'm going to try to give you a bit more tips on how to overcome procrastination.
Fantastic, thank you. So firstly, is there like a definition of procrastination? What is it and what does it look like?
So basically, procrastination is, you could, if you go like on Google or if you look in a dictionary, you're definitely going to come up with like a proper definition of what procrastination is. So if we were to put some words behind it, I would say that it's the act of pushing away something that you meant to do. Okay, simple as this. Instead of looking at a specific definition of procrastination, I want to point something very specific that's going to make straight away a huge difference. There is a huge difference between procrastination and laziness. This is completely different. The main difference between the two is when you are lazy, there's something you're supposed to do, you don't do it, and you don't do anything at all. When you procrastinate, there is something that you're supposed to do. You're not doing it, but instead, you're going to do something else. And that's the difference between the two. So procrastination, I would say it's about pushing away or delaying a kind of an unpleasant thing that you're supposed to do. On the other hand, you're going to be pretty active. You might going to do some things that are a little bit easier. So, you know, if for example, you're supposed to go to the gym, you're going to procrastinate on the gym, but then on the other hand, you're going to have absolutely no problem to start reading books. Okay, it's not about laziness, it's just about procrastinating because for you going at the gym is a bit unpleasant. Okay, so I think it's very important to start with by doing the difference between procrastination and laziness. Okay, once you start to make that distinction, then basically you can already start forgiving yourself quite a lot, actually, where basically there's absolutely nothing wrong about procrastination. I'm not going to say something wrong about laziness, but I would say laziness is less acceptable, let's put it this way, than procrastination. So if you procrastinate, everything is fine. If you're lazy, that's a different issue right there.
Okay, so when people procrastinate, it's like you mentioned, perhaps something that's unpleasant or something they're not looking forward to doing. Why do we do it? Why is it that we procrastinate apart from the fact that it might be something unpleasant? Is it because we have to face something, or we're just not looking forward to doing the activity or whatever it is we need to do?
So basically, the reason why you procrastinate is because whatever you set yourself to do is something that's going to be challenging for you for whatever reason. It could be physically challenging, it could be mentally, psychologically challenging, or it could be just an uncomfortable situation where you're going to put yourself. So basically, it's like if you prefer, you're going to challenge yourself or you're going to procrastinate because this is going to call on something that is a lot deeper than what you think it is. Okay, so for example, if it's about like, if we go back to the example to go to the gym, you procrastinate because you feel that maybe you don't see yourself as being that super fit person. You know what I mean? Because maybe it's just easier to reach for the jar of ice cream that is in the freezer instead of going to the gym or whatever. So it actually challenges your own internal image, and that's the reason why it's like, oh, although you want to change that image, what you believe about yourself is actually the fact that you're not a super healthy and fit person that goes to the gym just like that, right? So because of that, you're kind of going to struggle with going to the gym, and this is how you're going to become procrastinate. On the other hand, you could take a person that could be that look extremely fit and that has absolutely no problem to go to the gym, because for them, they see themselves as being fit. They see themselves, that's the reflection of myself, that's who I am. But instead, they might procrastinate, for example, to do some cooking, or they might procrastinate to take a course, for example, because they don't have the self-confidence. They don't think, for example, that they're great leaders. So because they don't think they're great leaders, they're not going to step up. So they're going to procrastinate, for example, to learn a certain course, or to do a public speaking course, for example, to go on stage to deliver something specific that they want to deliver, right? So everyone has kind of their own procrastination thing, but most of the time it's going to be related to something that is against the way they see themselves, and that's why it's uncomfortable. So when we procrastinate because it's something that doesn't feel comfortable. When you put yourself in action, naturally speaking, and it's part of the human being, as human being, we're always going to go for the thing that is the easiest to do first. That's how it is. We're going to do the thing that is easier to do first because it makes us feel comfortable, it makes us feel good, and because we want to go towards pleasure. You remember in one of the previous videos, we were talking about the fact that as human beings, we're always trying to run away from something, avoid something, or chasing something, like moving towards something. So when we do the easy thing first, we're moving towards pleasure. We're moving towards the fact that I'm going to have like a reward that I'm sure that I'm going to have. It's not going to take much effort because I want to feel that reward. But if you start to do the thing that is more difficult, then you're going to feel that it's going to take a lot of effort, and you want to run away from the pain as much as possible. And that's why you're going to start procrastinating.
For me, I find that when I'm at work and I've got something big to write, like a speech or something, I find that I have to psych myself up to actually open the document and be like, right, you need to sit down for half an hour and write as much as you can. And then I'll finally get to the point where I'm like, okay, let's start writing. And then 5 minutes later, I'll check my phone and be like, oh, what's on Instagram or what's on Facebook? Is that procrastination, or is that getting distracted?
I wouldn't call that procrastination, because you still take the first step, which is you open the document and you start to get working on it and all that. Then what's happening behind is going to be distraction. So distraction is going to have a huge impact, and distraction will actually push you to procrastinate. So in that specific example right here, there's tons of statistics around it that talks about the nasty effect of distraction. And something that you got to bear in mind is, if you start to focus yourself on the task, and let's say you write an article, for example, and it's going to take a bit of time to get yourself in the mindset, right? Once you are in that mindset and you start working on the document, every time that you distract yourself with Facebook, Instagram, an email, or whatever it is, and you just like have a check on it, it's going to take 15 minutes to get back to the right mindset, to be fully back in the mindset of productivity where you were before the distraction. 15 minutes. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. So if you take the average person that goes to the office from 9 to 5, the fact that they have the email open all the time with notifications that keep firing at them, and then they have their cell phone on the desk with their partner that keeps firing messages at them, and then people going around the office on and off and all of that and so on, the actual 100% productive time is actually ridiculously short. On an 8 hours day, we're talking about maybe a maximum of 2 hours? 2 hours of, I call that the Formula One productivity, maybe 2 hours. And the rest is just like bicycle productivity, if you could say that. It's a lot slower and everything. So distraction is a huge thing. And so here's a little trick that you can use. There's a very famous technique called the Pomodoro technique. And the Pomodoro is actually a little timer. Pomodoro is an Italian word that talk about a little timer. And so you use a timer, a kitchen timer, those little things that you turn. It could be a tomato or something like that. And you're going to set it up for 25 or 30 minutes. Take one of those one of those timers, set it up for 25 minutes, and when you do it, you shut off everything. You shut off your notification on your computer, so nothing will come to distract you. You shut off, you put your cell phone on airplane mode as well, so nothing is going to distract you. And even if you have to tell people, I need to focus for the next 25 or half an hour, you tell that so no one comes and distract you. And during this 25 minutes, you smash it. You go on your project and you go, and you don't stop for 25 minutes. When those 25 minutes are done, then you reward yourself. You reward yourself by going on Instagram, by going on Facebook, by whatever you want to do. You can go for a walk, you can have a snack, whatever it is. I would recommend maybe something, not a snack, because otherwise you're going to start like putting on some weight fairly quickly. But basically you want to reward yourself. And what's happening from a psychology point of view is every time you go on Instagram, every time you check your email, every time you check Facebook, there is one thing that you always do is you're going to scroll because you want to see something new. So for example, on Instagram, if you open Instagram and the picture that you see was the one that you saw 10 minutes ago or 2 hours ago, naturally speaking, you're going to scroll down for Instagram to reload, right? This is what we call the dopamine shot. The dopamine shot that you have when you do that on Instagram, on Facebook and everything is basically the same one that you're going to have when you go to the casino. When you go to that slot machine and when you do this, and the fact that things are turning and there's a chance that you're going to see something new, that's a dopamine shot right here. So you do exactly the same on Facebook, Instagram to have your dopamine shot. And they are built for that. All the social media, everything on your cell phone is built for you to get your dopamine shot, to spend time on your cell phone in order to place more things and all of that. There is a fantastic Netflix documentary called The Social Dilemma that I strongly encourage you to look at, because it's going to give you like a pretty good awareness of what's really happening and how much we're getting addicted to our phone and the distraction.